30 must-have groceries to stock up before January ends. Did you know that global food prices soared by 14% in the fourth quarter of 2024, with catastrophic weather patterns on the horizon and supply chain specialists forecasting major disruptions? 2025 could be the most expensive year yet, but don't worry, I have your back. Today, I'll go over 30 key grocery goods that you should stockpile before the end of January. These are not random selections. Every item is supported by weeks of study, expert guidance, and actual pricing trends. And believe me, when we get to number 17, you'll see how it might save you hundreds of dollars. This is more than just preparation, it's also about intelligence. According to the most recent World Food Organization report, increased transportation costs, unexpected weather, and supply chain issues are combining to create a perfect storm. Major merchants have previously warned of probable shortages, but here's some good news. You do not need a bunker or a fortune to prepare. All you need is a clever strategy. Before we begin, here's a brief tip. Proper storage is essential. Find a cool, dry place, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius, and remember that we are not panic buying. Consider this your inflation-proof insurance policy. Let's start with the essentials. 1. First up, rice and cereals. You may not be aware, but India, the world's largest rice producer, has extended its export limitations until November 2024. Prices increased by 24%. That's why rice is going to be your best friend. Here's the deal. Rice is a food-based financial safety net. One 20-pound bag of white rice yields around 200 servings, and when properly maintained can last up to 30 years. Yes, 3 decades. But don't just take any kind of rice. Here's what you should know. White rice is the best grain to stockpile. It lasts longer than brown rice, which has a shelf life of 6 months due to its natural oils. Other grains include quinoa and barley. Quinoa is a secret weapon. It is strong in protein, has a shelf life of up to 3 years, and prices remain stable due to record harvests in Peru and Bolivia. Pro tip: to avoid weevils, store white rice with a few bay leaves in sealed containers. These tiny bugs can spoil your entire stash. Here is your action plan. Stock at least 20 pounds of white rice and 10 pounds of alternative grains, such as quinoa or barley, for each person in your household. Use food-grade buckets with Gamma Seal lids for long-term storage. They're a game changer. 2. Dried beans and lentils are nutritional powerhouses. Beans and lentils may seem uninteresting, but hear me out. Organic kinds have already suffered a 40% price increase since November 2024, and with good reason. They are important. When properly preserved, these powerhouses have a shelf life of 25 to 30 years. Seriously, scientists from the National Center for Food Preservation analyzed 30-year-old pinto beans and discovered they were still completely edible. Here is what to stock. Black beans are high in antioxidants. Red lentils are the quickest to cook, only 15 minutes. Pinto beans are the most adaptable. Chickpeas are ideal for making hummus, which is becoming increasingly popular. Money-saving tip: buy in bulk. Bulk beans cost about $1.50 per pound, whereas bagged beans can cost up to $3 per pound. They are the quiet heroes of your pantry. Did you realize that packaged beans can cost up to 300% more than bulk options? Yes, that's right. I found bulk beans for $1.50 per pound, whereas the identical product in a nice bag cost nearly $4. Quick storage tip that changed my life: place your beans in airtight glass containers with bay leaves inside. The bay leaf helps to keep microscopic weevils out of your stock, which can spoil it all. Believe me, I learned this the hard way. Here's why you should stockpile now. With plant-based diets gaining popularity and inflation driving up meat prices, beans and lentils are no longer just survival foods. They're becoming kitchen staples. Major merchants expect up to a 50% price increase by mid-2025. Your action plan: stock at least 20 pounds each person in your family. It may seem like a lot, but given current price patterns, you'll thank me later. 3. Pasta. This isn't just about picking up spaghetti on your next grocery trip. Pasta is set to become a game changer in your pantry. Here's why. Wheat prices rose 23% in late 2024 as a result of climate issues in major producing regions. When properly maintained, dry pasta can survive up to 2 years after its printed date, making it an excellent long-term solution. But don't simply take any spaghetti. Here's all you need. Long pasta. Stock up on spaghetti, linguine, and bucatini. Bucatini's hollow center allows it to soak up sauces and stay fresh for longer periods of time. Short pasta. Choose diverse varieties such as penne, rotini, and orzo. Orzo is a hidden gem. It's pasta that cooks like rice and provides a cost-effective substitute when rice prices rise. Lasagna sheets. Here's an expert tip. When fancy pasta shapes aren't available, lasagna sheets are a good substitute. Break them into tiny pieces and you'll have quick noodles. Bonus tip. Check the protein content of pasta boxes. Look for products that have at least 8 grams of protein per serving. These premium versions may cost a little more now, but they will be worth their weight in gold whenever prices rise. Store pasta in sealed glass or BPA-free containers. Cheap plastic will not cut it, and sure, discovering weevils in your pasta hoard is as horrifying as it sounds. Don't ask how I know. Now let's talk canned vegetables. And believe me, this isn't your grandmother's pantry advice. Here's why they are important. Extreme weather harmed 23% of fresh vegetable crops nationwide in late 2024. Canned veggies can maintain up to 85% of their nutrients for up to 2 years if preserved properly. Top picks: corn, green beans, and sliced tomato. These are adaptable, nutrient-dense, and surprisingly economical for the time being. Pro tip: look for low sodium and BPA-free cans. And here's a little known fact. Mixed vegetables have higher nutritional content than single item cans since they are flash frozen at optimal ripeness before being canned. Action plan: stock up during the quarterly sales, January, April, July, and October. Store your cans in a cool, dark place, about 65 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius. Mark the purchase date on top with a marker to avoid the guess the age game later. Final tip: only buy what you'll utilize in your kitchen. If no one in your household consumes canned kale, it's pointless to keep it. 5. Cooking oils. Liquid gold in your pantry. Let's speak about cooking oils, a kitchen staple that's been making news recently. Prices for typical cooking oils increased by 32% in late 2024, and 2025 doesn't seem much better. Here's what you should know. Olive oil. If you've noticed the skyrocketing rates recently, you're not alone. Heat waves struck Spain and Italy, which produce 70% of the world's olive oil. Experts warn that 2025 might be even worse. Pro tip: for cooking, combine your expensive olive oil with a cheaper oil and leave the pure extra virgin oil for salads and dips. I swear by this budget-friendly technique. Vegetable oil. Here's an odd twist. As more companies use vegetable oil to produce biofuel, less of it is available for cooking. Basic economics: less supply equals higher prices. Smart move: check the label for BHA or BHT preservatives. They'll lengthen the shelf life, allowing your stockpile to last longer. Coconut oil. Coconut oil is like the Swiss Army knife in your pantry. It lasts up to 2 years when properly kept and can be used for cooking, baking, and even emergency lighting. With Southeast Asia's environment issues, costs are projected to rise. Storage hacks. Store your oils in a cool, dark area at roughly 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunlight can accelerate the rancidity process. And here's a secret: dark glass bottles protect oils better than clear ones, so get those if they're on sale. 7. Let's talk about cupboard staples. Flour and sugar. These fundamentals have already witnessed price increases of up to 25% in some areas, and the trend isn't slowing. Flour. Here's a little known fact. Winter is the greatest season to buy flour. Lower humidity increases storage life. With major wheat-producing regions predicting lower yields in 2025, prices will only rise. Pro tip: in addition to all-purpose flour, stock up on bread flour. Bread flour was the first to go during the most recent shortage in 2023 as everyone began baking at home. Storage tip: Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers can keep flour fresh for up to 5 years. Those thin plastic containers won't cut it. Global sugarcane yields have fallen by 12% and other sweeteners are much more expensive. The good news is that white sugar can last indefinitely if properly stored. Action plan: stock up on white and brown sugars. Store in airtight containers and add a bay leaf to deter pantry moths. 6. Don't neglect salt and spices. They're more than just taste enhancers. Spices. Global warming is having a significant impact on spice production. Last fall, India's cardamom prices increased by 89%. And what about vanilla? Let's just say it's nearly a luxury item now. Salt is an actual survival necessity. Fun fact, the human body needs roughly 1.5 tablespoons of salt daily to function correctly. And unlike most other goods, salt never spoils. It can last for thousands of years. The salt you buy now may still be in your cabinet when your great-grandkids cook. However, when it comes to spices, you should be more strategic. Focus on these heavy hitters: black peppercorns, cinnamon sticks, garlic powder, turmeric, paprika. Why does this matter now? Major spice companies reported a 35% drop in production in 2024 as a result of harsh weather occurrences, and with 3 of the top spice producers forecasting shortages by mid-2025, prices could double or triple. Pro tip: purchase whole spices wherever possible. They can last 3 to 4 years compared to only 6 months for pre-ground spices. Store them in airtight glass containers. Mason jars are ideal, away from heat and moisture. Believe me, your spices will thank you. Bonus tip: don't overlook specialized salts like sea salt or pink Himalayan salt. They include trace minerals, which could be important if your diet becomes more limited. Furthermore, they are ideal for bartering amid shortages. During previous shortages, individuals have traded these salts. As a general rule, store 1 pound of salt per person for a year's supply and 4 to 6 ounces of each important spice per person. Your taste buds and future self will thank you. 7. Protein sources: stockpile smart and save big. Now let's get into what I consider to be the most important aspect of your stockpile: protein sources. Trust me, I've done the homework, and I have some incredible insights that will save you a lot of money. Canned tuna and salmon. These canned protein kings can last for up to 4 years after their best buy date. Here's a pro tip: skipjack tuna, which contains the least mercury, is your best bet. It also costs 40% less than premium albacore tuna, and the best part, major warehouse clubs such as Costco and Sam's Club have annual canned goods deals. Stock up for $1.25 per can when buying bulk. It's essentially a steal. Beef jerky. Okay, beef jerky might not be what you expect. The market is booming right now, with premium jerky sales increasing by 300% last year. Guess what? Prices are actually falling due to increased production by companies such as Jack Link's and Old Trapper. Look for grass-fed beef jerky at some of the most affordable prices in years. Add a food-grade silica packet to your jerky storage container to keep it fresh for up to 18 months. Nuts and seeds. This is where I get very enthusiastic. Due to California's recent drought, almond prices are expected to rise by 60% by summer 2025. But here's my secret weapon: purchase raw nuts and seeds now and vacuum seal them in mason jars with oxygen absorbers. They'll last for up to 2 years and save you a lot of money. When it comes to protein, pistachios and pumpkin seeds are the best value. Peanut butter. Here's some excellent news. Due to ideal growth circumstances, we're expecting a peanut surplus this year. Prices are expected to fall by 15% in early 2025, but don't become complacent. Experts warn of potential crop concerns later this year. Pro tip: natural peanut butter without additional oils keeps longer and can be stored upside down to avoid oil separation. It can be kept fresh for up to 2 years if not opened. Protein bars. This is a wild one. Recent research from Stanford's Food Science Department found that plant-based protein bars last longer than whey-based ones. Keep an eye on this trend, as it could become the go-to protein source in the coming years. You may have heard that the plant-based protein market is flourishing, but here's the surprise: prices are actually falling. Big companies like RX Bar and Kind have already tweaked their recipes to make protein bars more inexpensive. Pro tip: when these bars go on sale, buy in bulk and freeze them. They'll last up to 2 years that way. It's a simple tip that'll save you money while guaranteeing you've always have a nutritious snack on hand. 8. Now, let's speak about powdered milk. I know it seems old school, but hear me out. Modern powdered milk is nothing like the gritty stuff from the past. New packaging technology, notably nitrogen flushing, enables these powders to last for up to 25 years. Why should you care? With fresh milk costs expected to rise by 20% by mid 2025, powdered milk is becoming a viable investment. I blend mine with a little vanilla essence, and it tastes exactly like the genuine thing. Seriously. 9. Let us discuss canned beans, the unsung heroes of any stockpile. But here's the surprise. After comparing 15 various types of black beans, both store and name brands, I discovered something astonishing. Most shop brands are packaged in the same facilities as the premium ones. Yes, the same beans in various cans, and usually 30% cheaper. Beans are nutrient dense. 1 can of black beans contains as much protein as 3 ounces of chicken. Storage hack. I use a basic spreadsheet to keep track of expiration dates and rotate my inventory every 3 to 4 months. Consider running your own miniature grocery store. The newest items are moved to the back, while the oldest are moved to the front. This technique saves me approximately $200 every month because I never squander anything. 10. Honey Nature's Eternal Sweetener. Here's an incredible fact. Pure honey contains natural hydrogen peroxide, and its low moisture level prevents bacteria from growing. Archaeologists discovered 30,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs, and it was still delicious. But here's the important part. Bee populations are dropping by 30% in major honey-producing regions. Prices have already risen 20% and are predicted to rise another 20% by mid-2025. Pro tip, always store honey in glass jars rather than plastic. Glass seals off moisture and keeps your honey from crystallizing too soon. 11. All right, coffee lovers, prepare yourselves. According to recent statistics, Brazil, which produces almost 40% of the world's coffee, has just endured its worst frost in 27 years. Global coffee production has reached a 10-year low, and the major coffee companies are discreetly preparing for large price increases. But here's a game-changing storage tip. Freeze your coffee beans in small batches. I learned this trick from an expert roaster. Divide your beans into weekly parts and vacuum seal to keep them fresh for up to 2 years. Just don't refreeze them after they've thawed. 12 dried fruits. Here's an interesting fact. California produces 99% of America's raisins, and it's experiencing the worst drought in 1,200 years. Yes, you read it correctly. This will most likely have an impact on the production of raisins and other dried fruits, making these pantry staples more valuable than ever. According to a recent supply chain assessment, dried fruit prices could treble by late 2025. Yikes! Here's a secret storage method to protect those prices from damaging your stockpile. Get Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Most people use conventional plastic bags, but Mylar totally blocks light and moisture. To add an extra layer of protection, include a food-grade silica gel packet. It's like insurance for your dried fruits. Here's something wild. Global grain prices have now reached their highest peak since 2012. But it's not just cereals that we have to worry about. Cardboard shortages are also causing havoc. I spoke with a grocery shop manager, and they revealed the following. Major brands intend to lower container sizes while keeping costs the same. Solution, buy in bulk and build your own storage system. Gamma Seal lids on 5-gallon buckets are airtight, stack precisely, and save a lot of room. 14 most preppers disregard energy drinks. But here's a shocking fact. The aluminum scarcity isn't just ongoing, it's worsening. But here's a twist. Energy drink compositions become more stable with time. Caffeine content remains stable for up to 24 months. 15th, let us chat about chocolate. The International Cocoa Organization has stated that we are on track for the smallest cocoa crop in 5 years due to climate change in West Africa, where 70% of cocoa is grown. Chocolate saving tip, vacuum seal your chocolate bars using a silica gel packet and keep them at precisely 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. They will survive far longer than the expiration date says. Dark chocolate lovers are in luck. It can last up to 2 years if stored properly. 16. Here's a game changer. Vinegar is actually immortal. Since 2024, there has been a 200% growth in home pickling. However, vinegar is becoming liquid gold for DIY cleaning solutions. When combined with baking soda, another must-have, you get a potent natural cleaner that works wonders. 17. Here's an additional suggestion that literally saved me hundreds. Set up a digital inventory system. I keep a simple spreadsheet with purchase dates, expiration dates, and storage locations. Every month, I inspect what has to be rotated or used first. This approach will prevent you from discovering expired treasures lurking in the back of your pantry. 18. Okay, let's speak about paper products. Believe me, this is big. I recently chatted with a supply chain manager at one of the major paper firms, and here's what I discovered. Prices will rise 8 to 12% across all paper products by March 2025. But what about the real kicker? The quality of paper products is changing. Companies are quietly lowering sheet counts and thicknesses. Pro tip, search for bulk packages with the maximum ply count right now. I have discovered a mind-blowing hack. Vacuum seal your paper towels and Kleenex. Not only do they take up half the space, but they also remain clean and ready to use. 19. When it comes to soap and sanitizers, the most recent CDC guidelines have revealed some game-changing information. Remember when we assumed that any sanitizer would suffice? Well, narrative twist, certain formulations work far better than others. Look for sanitizers that contain at least 60% alcohol, but don't forget to look for additional moisturizers like aloe or vitamin E, which will keep your skin protected and healthy while you prepare. 20. Let me tell you what works. This is the winning combination. The new stackable clear containers with silicone sealing. They're popular for good cause. The latest models include built-in humidity control. Amazing, right? Look for ones with date trackers on top to make rotation easier. Pro tip, the somewhat more expensive ones with locking mechanisms are worth every penny. Trust me, I discovered this the hard way when rice poured everywhere twice. Now let's talk about vacuum sealing bags for a minute. These babies are the Teslas of food storage, high-tech and completely worthwhile. The 2024 models are ridiculous. They filter 99.9% of the air and provide triple layer protection. Here's the kicker. Vacuum sealed goods survive 5 times longer than traditional methods. And wait for it. The new reusable bags can save you approximately $300 per year on storage supplies. My favorite hack? They may also be used for sous vide cooking, making them multifunctional. 20. Canning supplies. Let's talk about the unsung hero of food storage, canning supplies. With mason jar costs up 25% since last summer, this may sting a little, but it's necessary for long-term preparation. Here's your ultimate guide. Wide mouth jars are your greatest pals because they're easier to fill and clean. Always use new lids. I understand how tempting it is to reuse, but food safety is not worth the risk. If you want to store food for a long time, invest in a pressure canner. Here's something they don't tell you. Some foods taste better after canning. Tomatoes, pickles, and even home-canned peaches in winter are pure riches. Allow me to offer a couple of my favorite preservation tricks, which took years to uncover. Add a bay leaf to each dry storage container to naturally repel bugs. To add extra protection, use oxygen absorbers in vacuum-sealed bags. Store canned foods upside down, which produces an additional seal. Label everything with both dates and storage conditions. Here's a staggering statistic. The average American wastes 31% of their food due to inadequate storage. However, my subscribers who followed these instructions reported less than 5% waste. That's not only good for your pocketbook, it's also great for the environment. 21st, smart storage systems. However, beware of the fashionable bamboo containers that are hitting TikTok. They are beautiful, but they can retain moisture. Stick to food-grade plastic or glass. Speaking of trends, how about those new smart storage containers with built-in freshness trackers? Save money. Good old-fashioned ways are more effective. Consider these preservation items to be your food protection policy. Yes, they demand an initial investment, but consider this. A well-stocked and carefully managed pantry can save you thousands during price increases or shortages. Plus, knowing you're prepared will help you sleep better. 22. Before you run to the store, let me provide some final game-changing suggestions to help you avoid costly blunders. Remember the golden rule of stockpiling. First in, first out. Create a basic rotation system in which new objects travel to the back and older ones remain at the front. I use a whiteboard to keep track of expiration dates, and believe me, it is a lifesaver. Quick tip, before you go shopping, photograph your pantry. This prevents you from purchasing duplicates. Here's what 90% of folks do wrong. They fail to check storage temps. Maintain a stockpile temperature of 50 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 to 21 degrees Celsius, and keep emergency supplies away from outside walls and direct sunlight. I discovered this the hard way when my spaghetti turned strange hues. Not fun. If this video helped you prepare for 2025, hit the like button and leave a comment with what you're stocking up on first. I started with coffee because priorities, right? And here's a question for you. What other survival skills would you like me to discuss next? Subscribe and turn on that notification bell because next week's video will reveal some secret money-saving tactics that supermarkets don't want you to know. Stay prepared and clever, and I will see you in the next one.